Okay, so I actually forgot to record Jeremiah 19, so we're going to do that right now. So we'll be watching this after 3 o'clock. It's almost 3 now. But what I'll do is I'll record this one and I'll record chapter 20 so I can get chapter 20 ready to be uploaded for tomorrow and get ahead of the game. I had some running to do this morning. Just got back a little bit ago. Okay, so let's go back to chapter 18. Let's read the last 5 verses again to get our context. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Jeremiah 18:19, give heed to me, O Lord, and listen to the voice of those who contend with me. He's like, listen to these guys. I'm giving your message. Listen to what they're saying. Shall evil be repaid for good? He's doing good, they're doing evil by the way they're talking to him. For they have dug a pit for my life. Remember that I stood before you to speak good for them, to turn away your wrath from them. Now, interesting the way he words this. He's standing before them, standing before God to speak good for them, to turn away God's wrath from them. So he's speaking to them, trying to help them understand, so that they'll change and it'll turn God's wrath away. The wording is very interesting here when you stop to think about it. He's not trying to convince God, he's trying to convince them. But he's trying to convince them to turn God's wrath away. Therefore, deliver up their children to the famine, and pour out their blood by the force of the sword. Let their wives become widows and bereaved of their children. Let their men be put to death. Their young men be slain by the sword in battle. Let a cry be heard from their houses, when you bring a troop suddenly upon them, for they have dug a pit to take me and hidden snares for my feet. Yet, Lord, you know all their counsel which is against me to slay me. Provide no atonement for their iniquity, nor blot out their sin from your sight, but let them be overthrown before you. Deal thus with them in the time of your anger. He's like, okay, Lord, look, you see what's going on here. I've given your message. Look at them. Look at what they're doing. And now you've put us in drought. And look, they're still turning away. They're not listening. I'm trying to convince them so your anger will be turned away. I'm trying to get them to see the light so that you will cease to be angry at them. But look at what they're doing. If that's what they want, Lord, I agree with you. Let us have it. Lay it on us. Be done with us. We deserve it. Jeremiah 19, the broken flask. The Lord's going to give him another example. Verse 1, thus says the Lord, go and get a potter's earthen flask. Now remember at the beginning of chapter 18, it was the thing about the potter, how he's making it. Watch. Go and get a potter's earthen flask and take some of the elders of the people and some of the elders of the priests. So elders of both groups. That's another key detail that seems insignificant, but it's key. Some of the regular people and some of the priests. I want elders of both to go with you. Verse 2, and go out to the valley of the son of Hinnom, which is by the entry of the potsherd gate, and proclaim there the words that I will tell you. So now he's got to go convince them to go, like a car salesman. Hey, y'all need to come here. Verse 3, and say, hear the word of the Lord, O kings of Judah, and inhabitants of Jerusalem. Who's the king of Judah? There's no kings of Judah. It's the priests. Think about it. He's talking future. O kings of Judah, inhabitants of Jerusalem, thus says the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, behold, I will bring such a catastrophe on this place that whoever hears of it, his ears will tingle. Think about that for a minute. I'm going to bring something so horrible here that if a person hears it, they're going to have a physical sensation. That's interesting. Verse 4, because they have forsaken me and made this an alien place, because they have burnt incense in it to other gods whom neither their fathers nor the kings of Judah have known, and have filled this place with the blood of innocents. Verse 5, they have also built the high places of Baal to burn their sons with fire for burnt offerings to Baal, which I did not command or speak, nor did it come to my mind. Therefore, behold, the days are coming, says the Lord, that this place shall no more be called Tophet, or the valley of the son of Hinnom, but the valley of slaughter. Now, did that happen in the past, or is that a future event he's referring to? Well, obviously, it's a future event. He said the days are coming when that'll be called the valley of slaughter. Verse 7, and I will make void the counsel of Judah and Jerusalem in this place. And I will cause them to fall by the sword before their enemies and by the hands of those who seek their lives. Their corpses I will give as meat for the birds of the heaven and of the beasts of the earth. I will make this city a desolation and a hissing. I've done this. Have I done this? I thought I already did chapter 19. Maybe I didn't. Let me pause for a second, double check, make sure I didn't already do this. Okay, sorry about that. I saw the hissing and it sounded really familiar, but we've covered that in another chapter, actually. So Jeremiah 19:8, I will make this city desolate and hissing. Everyone who passes by it will be astonished and hiss because of all its plagues. Verse 9, and I will cause them to eat the flesh of their sons and the flesh of their daughters, and everyone shall eat the flesh of his friend in the siege and in the desperation with which their enemies and those who seek their lives shall drive them to despair. Now, is he talking about actually eating them? Well, that may have been a thing. We weren't alive back then. We don't know for sure. But what he's also talking about here is to consume them with hatred. They're going to hate each other, badly hate each other. Jeremiah 19:10, then you shall break the flask in the sight of the men who go with you. So go tell them all this, and then break the flask. After he breaks the flask, verse 11, and say to them, thus says the Lord of hosts, even so I will break this people and this city, as one breaks a potter's vessel, which cannot be made whole again. And they shall bury them in Tophet, till there is no place to bury. Pretty serious thing he's talking about here. Pretty serious. He's like, you guys hear all this that he just said? He took that potter's vessel, smashed it on the ground. You see how that broke? It probably shattered and went everywhere. I'm going to do the same thing to you guys. So God is not only giving them a word, but he's also preparing for them physical examples to show, and things that they will respond to, things that they'll understand. He's speaking to them in their language, and they still aren't going to get it. Verse 12, thus I will do to this place, says the Lord, and to its inhabitants, and make the city like Tophet. And the houses of Jerusalem and the houses of the kings of Judah shall be defiled like the place of Tophet, because of all the houses on whose roofs they have burned incense to all the host of heaven, and poured out drink offerings to other gods. See, they worshipped angels back then. Do it today, too. Verse 14, a lot of people worship angels today. Verse 14, then Jeremiah came from Tophet, where the Lord had sent him to prophesy, and he stood in the court of the Lord's house and said to all the people. So here's the message, here's the delivery. Thus says the Lord of hosts, verse 15, the God of Israel, behold, I will bring on this city and on all her towns all the doom that I have pronounced against it, because they have stiffened their necks that they might not hear my words. What did he proclaim against them? I'm going to wipe you all out. I'm going to bring this place down into the dust. When people walk by this land, they're going to look at it and be like, ugh, we don't want to go there. I'm going to make all these people that you think you're more high and mighty than, I'm going to make them to look down upon you. I'm going to wipe you all out. I'm going to destroy you. I'm going to cause you all to hate each other. You're going to eat each other up with hatred. You're going to kill each other. Nobody will look to another for help. I'm going to take everything away from you. I gave it all to you. I'm going to take it away. And he's very descriptive up to this point as to what he's going to do. Very descriptive. And they still can't hear it. They still won't receive it. Because we're going to see in chapter 20, Jeremiah persecuted by Bashur. So now they're going to respond. That was Jeremiah 19. A little quicker this one, but the next one I think we're going to get into some bad stuff. Bad stuff. And we're going to start seeing examples of stuff we see today happen all these thousands of years ago with these people too. And again, messages spoken then, but across time to us. That's Jeremiah chapter 19. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one.